Hello everybody, good day. I think it's been about a week since I've been on Twitch, apologies about that. Life gets in the way. I feel like we got to a reasonably good place, I think, if I remember correctly. I was completely carried by chat, by everyone helping out. And it's pretty much, I don't think I've done anything with it since then actually. I haven't done much off stream, or possibly anything off stream. Check where we got to. Let's have a look at the issues actually. Order this by recently updated. Okay, so again, recently updated would be good. Okay, so I must have closed this. Yes, because David gave us this this example bit of code, and then chat completely carried me through implementing that. So then we moved on to the perfects page. Yes, that was right. So we created a perfect branch, I think, which I can't see at the moment because yes, RSL, the live debug or live compile or whatever it's called, was not working. Let's quickly see if we can fix that, and if we can't, we'll just move on. And just whilst I'm at it, I'll open up chat on another screen. Bear with whilst I do that. There we go. In theory, I should see chat messages come through now. Hey Bethany, how's it going? That's curious. My viewer count is precisely 0, but I have chat messages coming through. Okay. One of these things is wrong. Where are we? Okay, VS terminal process terminal error code. If the last command failed when exiting the terminal. That is a problem. I don't think it is the problem. Probably should add some context here, because this is around WSL. You're definitely here. Yeah, the viewer count's increased now, so maybe there was a slight lag. Command not found. So WSL command not found. I think that may have been a follow or a friend request. I'm not quite sure which, but thank you. Yes, Nimish2711. Thanks for the follow. I feel like none of this is to do with precise issue we have. That could be true. I wonder what this is running as. Is this running as this terminal here? Is this one and the same thing? In which case, if I run this, I've got a feeling we tried to do this last time. You missed the start. What are we doing? That is a good question. So I said, what did I say? We were going to take a few, not long. I'm going to try and fix this because it would be nice if we had like real-time debug for when stuff is not going to compile, rather than me having to click down here, push the up button, build, cargo build. So I'm going to just quickly try and fix this, and if this is a no-go, use this. This is kind of weird. And WSL, of course, is not found. What? Why would WSL not be found? Unless this is a different, a strange. This has got to be a regular thing. WSL command not found. Yeah, I guess we could run that. Let's do some obvious stuff first. Let's just see if we can run. Oh no, I've got to remember a password. Oh, apparently it's that one. Good. Okay, that sort of worked. Can I install WSL? Is that a thing? Is it a package I can just... Following additional packages will be installed. Fine. Can't believe I'm having to install WSL. I feel like that should be there. Maybe I accidentally removed it. I think in the last stream I was going to go back through my videos. I said I was going to go back through my videos and find out what had happened to this. But I didn't. Spoiler. If I just hit return on that, okay. Couldn't start. Fine, that's not helpful. Could not install component rust analysis. That's not overly helpful either. So now when I install this, unknown command rust up. I mean, that's an improvement. If I restarted VS Code, that just did a tiny update. It's trying to do some things. Sure, you can have node run. What could possibly go wrong? Rust is not in, or RLS is not installed. Try and install it. Yes. Okay, so that just comes back with the same thing as I saw in this other page here. So we can probably debug this. Rust up will be saved. You want to run parallels, blah blah blah. Unknown command rust up. Well, that's fine. We can just go to, we can just install rust up. No drama. I'm amazed that this got uninstalled at some point though. Seems super unlikely. This feels like there's a bug somewhere. And that bug might be me. I'm fully ready to admit that it could be me. Yes, yes, please install. Okay, let's try restarting this again. It'd be really cool if this works. Nope. Didn't start. So what happens if I try and install it now? Probably nothing, because it says there that get there eventually. There we go. Yeah, it says there that I need to give it the cargo environment. Unknown command rust up. So we've installed rust up. I'm pretty sure that's what that did. Proceed with installation. Customize installation. You can uninstall. So let's just check then. What's in my home directory? It might be slightly misaligned with the keyboard. There we go. Have a look. We have cargo. We have rust up as well. Rust up self uninstall. Uninstall any time. Uninstall and reinstall. but I'm guessing I can't because rust up's the thing. It's right there. So maybe I don't need to do this via WSL. Maybe I just need to do this via rust up. All right. Try restarting this. So, well, it really should be. I feel like that ran two things. Unless that's running it as... Alright. So, how do I do this with weird interface? Mark. Okay, just want to copy and paste this. Run this outside of WSL, or here. So for ZSH, so it's probably because I've got ZSH installed. That would explain it. At some point I installed ZSH and then... It's a good theory, I like that. So at some point I changed the terminal. So what if I start ZSH? Then have I got rust up in here? I do. Alright, I'm confused. It's a common theme for this stream. So what if I took this and I switched back to ZSH and I just ran this? Unknown command rust up. Okay, what if I took off WSL? It's probably going to say that's in. Oh no, okay. It did feel like it needed to do something then. Switch back to here. We installed, so that was the second one. Let's install this one as well. That says it's already up to date. Okay, so close this. Let's restart this one more time. If this doesn't work, then I'll just carry on. Hang on, well I say that, but that did a third thing. Tool chain, so this rust analysis, rust source. What did we install here? We did rust analysis, rust source, but we haven't done that third one. This one. Sorry, it gave me another clue. I know I said I wouldn't carry on with this, but it gave me another clue. And did it actually do anything? Ah, it's because it's without a WSL. Fair enough. If you require these components, please install and use the latest successful build version. After determining the correct date, install it with a command such as. Alright. I'm quite happy to do that. I would like nightly from the 1st of this month. Ah, yes, this again. I'd love to know what is actually going on here, though. Yeah, let's see. This might do it. whilst that's doing its thing, have we got things to pull and push? We do. This action will synchronize stuff. Okay, good. Consider them synchronized, I guess. Get rid of rust up. Don't care about that anymore. Let's just see. Yeah, what did we just push? I'm not going to open a pull request just yet. Not do that. Less than a minute ago. Okay, but 8 days ago. Yes, we bumped seed to 0.4.1 because David gave us that neat thing. That default model. And what else did we change in here? There we go. Okay, so that's on about 0.4.1. And 2 pages. Probably the perfect page, right? Because that's what the branch is for. Let's have a look in the history on here. Recap on what we did. Is that just super slow loading the history page, or am I misclicking that? Must be misclicking it. We removed some zip downloads. We used format. Yes, format. Yeah, should have been using that to begin with, but because we knew how many arguments we had. But we're using that now. Probably use that in more places. Might do that some of that this stream. Okay, and then just a commit to say that we got downloads being generated on this page entirely client side, and then it looks like loads of changes that I didn't commit. That's terrible. This seems to have done its thing, so let's just try one more restart of VS Code. Sure. 2, 3. Couldn't start. Fine, don't care. Come back to that another time. Yeah, go away. So, what on earth have we changed in here? Oh, you know what? I think I did do something after the end of the last stream. I added a constant. The reason for that here is I ended up creating some errors where I was noting out and changing the number of entries in this this array of perfect numbers. I basically had a load of different hard-coded constants that shouldn't have been there, and it's better to have a single constant at the top of the page to say we are getting 30, or we're displaying 36 of these numbers. Then, for some reason, I decided to delete line 37. Ah, okay. So this is just me noting some stuff out. Oh yeah, that's quite an important one. I found that one of the numbers was actually wrong. I think the first number was just completely wrong. So I fixed that here. And looks like we added... this is a bit vast to be a single commit. Might be one of my worst commits ever if I commit this. Oh, do I do a work in progress commit? That feels like a terrible thing to do. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because I've failed to keep up with my commits last time. Git commit outside the, of course it is, because I probably need to be in the source folder, right? Git commit source. Work in progress. Getting, or experimenting, we should say. Generating perfects for downloads. Cool, let's push that up in case there's a sudden power surge. Right, let's, I tell you what, I should probably have actually tested that as well. Just check the local version still works. So much stuff open. Yeah, this was the page that showed me that my first number was just wrong. I'll leave that open for the moment. Don't need that. I don't think I need that. And this is our test page. Oh, that's not a good sign. Oh, it's probably, I tell you what, it's probably still calculating that page. Which makes me think I want it to be a bit faster. Because I'm lazy. More efficient. Lazy efficient. What did I do? Unused import POW. Was that there before and I just didn't watch the compile? No. Okay, first time around it must have been a cache. So 2 or 3 seconds maybe for this, maybe slightly more. Alright, let's get rid of some more numbers. That load, that try and load. The arrowing. Wow, it is. Okay. The length is 27, but the index is 27. Fair enough. Got some more info? Perfect render. No. This is why we need more functions as well. This whole thing probably needs a bit more refactoring so that we know. Yeah, this whole thing here could probably really needs to sit in another function, but one of these is out of bounds. Index out of bounds. The length is 27. Fair enough. Perfect count. So this counts up to perfect count, so that should be fine. Probably won't have any overflows in there. This one looks curious, -1 and -2. I'm going to note those out. Nope. So it's not those two. The perfect count as well. And I guess I could put like a just to see. So this line here, we're creating perfect values. We're creating a bunch of vectors, and we're essentially saying I want every single value in this variable to equal the number 2. And this is the number of variables I want. And if we scroll up, what have we got? 36. Ah, you know what? I'm being daft. I've just noted out a bunch of these, of course, and there's 27. So this would be, or should be changed to 27. I feel like this being a constant might already be a bad idea. Maybe I should be setting this or updating it somewhere here. I could actually, yeah, we'll do something with that in a second. It's not going to be the last time that bites us otherwise. Good. Alright, so we've got a page. Good. Oh, I left that +1 in. In fact, let's get rid of all of this. Check that still works. I think the only thing we've changed now is the constant, which is set to 27. Apparently I changed something on this line, probably just where the note is. Yeah, where the comment is or ends. Moved it down to there. So in theory, that works. I'm just going to go ahead and commit that because that's working. Git commit source. No. got really slow. Didn't like that at all. Weird. Git commit source. Let's give ourselves a nice message. Compiles. And loads page without overflow. That's true. Source did not match any files known to Git. What directory? Oh, I'm in the dub directory. There we go. There's a couple of things I really want to change. So what on earth is going on? Let's just remind ourselves. So we're starting out with some HTML that's empty. We're starting out setting the number or the variable 2 to be a big uint of 2. Grabbing the perfects array, I'm calling it array. Grabbing this perfects thing up here. I mean, at least that's a function, right? Then we're reversing it. So all of this, I think, is, yeah, so we're reversing it, running through. Hour shifted starts off at 2, perfects value. Yeah, so we were running through, and I remember now, we were working out essentially the first, we reverse it because we want to start off with the, calculating stuff for the smallest one first, not the first one that's going to appear on the page. And then we were working out that this function to work out the actual number that would appear in the download gets pretty crazy slow by the time these numbers get quite large. But because the formulas are on a base 2, as we work our way up, we can basically take the answer that we worked out last time and just add to it, or rather bit shift. Just make things more of a power of 2. So in this case, we work out 2 to the power of 1, and then if we bit shift that just 1, then we've got the answer to this. Bit shift it 2, we've got the answer to this, another 2, another 6, another 4, so on and so forth. So the theory was it would be faster. It was fast enough to get us some pretty quick page loads up to where you can see here the number 27 takes 3. Ah, my test isn't running. Test server's not running. 1 second. Yeah, it's pretty quick. That's a fraction of a second to get all the way up to here. But as soon as we start increasing this number, bearing in mind there's 51 of these, and these go into the millions, you're basically asking it to do millions of bit shifts, which is too much. So we're going to need a loading mask. I think that's what we're going to need. And I don't really want one for the whole page, because I think a lot of people will come to this page and not be interested in the download. So what we need is a download button that only when you click it does it begin to generate the answer. So as good as this is, I think this needs to go. In fact, you can see here, previously this worked without the crazy bit shifting. I say crazy, it's very cool. It's a really neat way to do it, I think, but I'm also going to be really bold. Get rid of all of this code. So now, I don't think we need this. I think this will also error, but you can see. What's this? Okay, so this is 2 bit shifted by p minus 1 minus 1. So I think I can delete this as well. Bear with. I know I'm deleting a lot of code here, but I think this is going to make sense in a second. This is using the shifted perfect value that was here. I just deleted it. I think that can go. And that leaves us with this. Let's recompile this. Because essentially all we need is a reasonably simple to understand bit of code that works. So if we can do that in 3 lines as opposed to whatever we had before, if we've got a loading mask, I don't mind if it takes 30 seconds. I mean, the end user might, but it's a big number. So let's check that this is actually right. So the first answer it reckons is, you can see it's super tiny, but where my mouse is here, when I hover, you can see what the value of the file is going to be. Just to remind on anyone seeing this from that's not a sentence. Just to remind from anyone that was watching last time, and just to introduce to anyone that hasn't. So as we work our way up, these numbers should get larger. So 8,128, fine, that's pretty big. For the first few, we can check this, right? 2 to the power of 1 is 2, 2 to the 2 is 4, minus 1 is 3. So it's 2 times 3, which gives us 6. This is 2 to the 2 is 4, 2 to the 3 is 8, 2, 4, 8. Minus 1 is 7, so we're saying 7 times 4, this should be 28. So far, so good. Wow, 496. Now, it's gonna my mind is gonna fail us quite quickly, so I don't need the history on this. I would like the answer. Do I not have the answer? Maybe I had the answer somewhere and I've closed it. Perfect2.txt. Let's click on this. Okay, so the first one's a 6. Second one's 28. Okay, so our first 2 are verified as correct. Third one is 496. Let's just double check what we've got over here. 496. We're looking for 8128 for the next one. All right, this is looking up. And what about for maybe not number 27, but what about number 10? So that begins with 1915 and ends with 9216. Already forgotten that was number 10. Number 10. 1915 and ends with 9216. Alright, so I think we've got this, generating correct values. That's a step in the right direction. Not to say it wasn't before. So let's commit this. So we are saying we have simplified perfect data calculation. And we're using bit shifts. Using bit shift. And is there anything else we want to say about this? No. Push that in case of fire or flood. Okay. That's I think that's easier to read anyway. That's our formula essentially there. P minus 1 minus, yeah, okay. So I think I kind of want to break this out into functions. I get this bit. I totally get having the HTML in the render function. That makes sense, but this feels like it should be somewhere else. Well, I'm trying to work out how I would break this out. Okay, my brain's failing on that one. So let's add. We've got original text downloads. I'm not sure I care about those, to be honest. So we've got the new text downloads, which is good. But I think we'll save as far as up here somewhere. Bills. Okay, cool. At least that's broken out into its own thing. So let's just remove that. Git commit. What did we do? We removed old download link. great. And ooh, nearly. There we go. So yeah, let's replace this with, I guess, how are we even going to do this, right? So we need to somehow get WebAssembly, or this seed framework, to have a button that you can click, but only when you click start generating the number, and then maybe automatically start a download. So instead of save as file, I think this becomes generate. Generate. Not just any file, we're generating a perfect file. Although it's part of, I guess it's part of the perfect download, so maybe we can get away with that, that's fine. So download file name, that's fine, but we don't know what the perfect value would be yet. We really don't. I would even argue that perhaps generate file, wouldn't it be neat? We just passed in the number, so n. That seems neater, and then there's less code in here. The reason I say that is because this is doing all kinds of stuff, but so is this. So we've got download file name used there. Why don't we move this into here? So this would be, what have we said? So far all we've said is we're going to have n, and n is, I guess, a U size probably. So instead of all of this, we can just do n2 string. That might not compile, that might need to be borrowed. I'll put it in as borrowed for now. Then we don't have file contents, that's no good to us just yet. And this is going to return, what is it going to return? So generate file. I don't actually want it to do any generating at the moment. Do I even want it to generate the file? Because actually we're not ready to generate the file yet. We're going to need to update the page somehow. Maybe have a loading mask. That's going to be the first thing it needs to do. And actually, no, before that we're going to need an on-click. So this needs to have some sort of on-click. So this shouldn't necessarily even be a function yet. This should be probably just an A tag, which we can grab from here. So attribute on click. I assume it's camel case. Is that what you call that? And then how do we have that run a function? That's going to be interesting. It's not going to have a href. For the moment, let's just put that in there. And I'm going to use the word generate so we know what it's actually doing. Not like that though. Makes you wonder what I was looking at, because I wasn't really looking at the keyboard there. I wasn't really looking at the screen, so looking off into the distance whilst trusting everything. That can probably go, at least be noted out for now. And interestingly, if that is noted out, then that can be noted out as well. Let's try and compile this. Yep, just as expected, things are unhappy. So I'm going to ignore that for now because we can do a commit with that later. File name not found in this scope. 84, 36. Yep, fair enough. Just do that then. Also doesn't have a href. Fine. That's okay too. Did it work? What am I expecting it to even do? Let's check and see if this even... Okay, so it's got an on click. Alright, okay. Well, that's some progress at least. Let's get rid of some stuff that I've noted out previously because it doesn't matter. Get rid of that too. Okay. Now, so what do we have now? We have a link with an on click. Should say links. Okay. What's going to be next? We're going to want to check out seed.rs, I think. Let's have a look and see if they've got a working example of something like this. Events. We've got a click event. There's a double click event. Okay. Window.event. Alright, there's quite a bit there. I'm not sure that's what I'm after. Miscellaneous features. No. No, don't think I want any of that. I wonder if we need to do something with the model. Because I guess we're gonna need to redraw the page now with a download. Feels like we shouldn't have to redraw the whole page. Complex apps. I think this probably counts as a complex app. Yeah, maybe we would need to, so we're essentially saying when we click this, we want to change the view, right? So looking at librs, so what have we got? Let's just start at the top of here. Okay, so we've got our pages, but this isn't a new page. So it's not a new page, it's not a new page. So we've already got the perfect archive. got a model that contains what page we're on and a slug. Maybe we need to add something to here. Not sure. And if we did, we'd have to update the, well, we would, yeah, we would, we'd have to update the default model. Sole source for updating the model. And this is the view for the model. All right. How about perfect archive? So we'd have to pass something through to the render function. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the correct flow is with this. I think I've got an idea. Let's just try this. What if I don't know, download or something? Download true, false, string. I don't know. Start off with a string. Strings are where we begin. And that's default. I already hate the fact that that's on the last line. Keep things alphabetical. So, all right. So our model's now got a download. I'm thinking like a download box appearing at the top or something, but maybe it'll morph into something else. I don't think we want to change page. We kind of want to like activate download or something. The sole source of updating the model. The top level component we pass to the virtual DOM must accept the model as its only argument, and output has to implement trait element container. So what if, I don't know, we added something here that was like activate download or generate download, maybe? Generate download. Do we care what the page is at this point? What is this? I've just invented a new thing. Just realized. Maybe this isn't what we want. Oh no, okay, so I've generated a new thing as part of this message, I think. So it's not what I want. So generate download. I think we would just include download. I mean, it'd be a miracle if this even compiles. Let's get rid of all of this. Because what am I planning on doing? I think I want to pass this download thing, which doesn't work yet because it's just an empty string. I feel like, yeah, we could redraw the whole. Maybe this is the wrong thing to do, but we could redraw the whole page. If we pass through model, because yeah, prime numbers archive, we're passing through model.slug. I don't know why we've bothered with just model.slug. What if we could pass through something far more interesting than that? We could pass through the whole model. Maybe that's messy, but I'm going to do it anyway. And whilst we're at it, I think it should be borrowed. See what we end up with. See if this compiles. No, of course not. Expected 0 parameters. Fair enough, yeah, of course. So if I go back to here and I go to the render function, I need to include a model. This is going to be tricky. It is technically of type model, probably with a capital M. Yeah, that's going to be tricky. The reason I say it's going to be tricky is because this is not in scope. This model struct is, or yeah, so this is now going to probably error for a different reason. Yeah, not found in this scope precisely. Then it moans about that power function, which I'll fix in a bit. Then it did interesting. It expects 2 fields on lib56. Why? Why does generate down? Oh, because I've specified the page. Maybe I don't need a generate downloads thing. Maybe I can just go to the same page. Let's keep the let's keep the model dot page thing in. I feel like we're not setting that, so we don't need to do that. No, go away. Just get rid of it. Let's ditch that. Aborting due to previous errors. Previous errors would be cannot find type model. Okay, so we've got a scope problem. So the problem is the model is defined in the library in lib.rs, which is true, and that's not available in perfect.rs, which is also true. So how can I access something that exists in librs? Maybe Let's say maybe I can't. Maybe I need to move the model out into its own crate. That's not the right word. Module. That doesn't feel right either. Time for a Google, I think. Rust access lib.rs. What did I just click on? Home for Rust crates. Oh, no. Don't want that. How do you use parent module imports? If you have a directory structure like this, ours is not a million miles off. Instead of main rs, we've got lib. That's interesting. Porting down the path I from main to module blah works. Porting peers, but importing from the parent scope doesn't. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. If I use this magical path directive, I can make this work. Okay, well they've got a solution at least. I'm assuming you want to declare utils and utils logging at the top level, and just wish to call functions from them inside blah blah 2, such as here. Interestingly, of course, everything's in a module. Any change I made was use create utils. Blah 2. Okay. So does that mean I need to put everything in here in a module? That feels doesn't seem quite right. wonder what function actually runs first in here. Init, don't know. Google that next as well. Rust, what function runs first in lib.rs? Alright, that's not what I was after as an answer. Yeah, so this suggests everything needs to live inside of a module. But interesting. But yeah, then I'm missing some really key piece of information, which is what function runs first in lib.rs. Rust calls function first. Internal functions, constant functions. So I would expect this to be like a main.rs, right? Not main.rs, but inside main.rs, I would completely expect, yeah, function main. So there's no function lib. It's implemented. Maybe this is something that's, no, I can't believe this is taken care of in seed. Anyway, the reason I wanted to find out the main function was if I can find that, maybe it's this one. That says start. I reckon it's probably this one that gets kicked off to begin with. In which case, excuse me, in which case everything else in the file could live inside a module, I guess. But do I need to do that? Does it have to be in a module for me to bring it into scope? Rust, not in module. It's probably not going to get me what I want, is it? Bringing paths into scope. Self. Well, if there's a self, is there a parent? Bringing paths into scope. Module tree, packages and crates. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm trying to avoid putting all of this in a module. I mean, I'll do it if I have to, but I don't want to. maybe I should. I mean, maybe that's the correct process. What's the correct practice? What does the average project's lib.rs file look like? Lib.rs examples. Good examples as well. Okay, so if I look in there, what's going on here? Oh, weird. Yeah, so they haven't put everything inside of a. They've got a init. Okay, so I think we can probably guess that init is the one that gets run first. Because I doubt that Rust would have gone with do the thing as the default function. Maybe they did, probably didn't. Then yeah, if I have a look at one of these, do the thing. Well, hang on, they're able to access it, but they're accessing it within mylib. So they've got a struct called mylib that they then give functions to. So yeah, we should be able to access some of these. And just to double check. Oh, no, I did not want to do that. Going into their examples again. They've got slog example lib. So this must be the name of their crate. Mylib is the name of that struct that gets implemented with some functions. And then we've got init, which is a function inside of that. So in our case, if I go back to perfect and I go back to module, I'm pretty sure our project is called Big Primes. I'll check the cargo file in a second. Then they've got a struct. We maybe have a struct called model. Yeah, we do. Okay, so we've got a struct called model. And then we've got default. So maybe no, we can't expect default to be. Okay, first up, let's try this because I'm confusing myself as always. Power function is erroring. I will fix that on the next commit. Use of undeclared type or module big primes. Alright, so interestingly, they've got an external crate up here. So within scope, let's add an external crate. Extern crate big primes. That's nice, isn't it? It's there. File that. Can't find crate. Fine. Cargo toml log example lib. Do you reckon it's the underscores? I wonder if we've got underscores in ours. That we do. Does it need to be a dash? Can't find crate. Right. So what else we got defined in here? Warn on missing docs. Use some macros. This again. External crate. I wonder if something has changed in the Rust language since. We can check that. So what edition are they using? They don't specify an edition, whereas we're using the 2018 edition. In fact, theirs hasn't been edited for a little while. So maybe something has changed. So accessing scope of lib.rs. No, not lib. Rust package with both a library and a binary. I'm sure we've had a look at both of these. Okay. I would like to make a Rust package that contains both a reusable... Okay, so you want to contain two things. Fine. The lib and the binary. Oh, do I... Is this where I define the scope? I'm not even doing that at the moment. External create mylib. I mean, I can do that. It's probably fine. Oh, I broke some things. See if it's happy with that, first of all. And source librs, of course. Error, metadata. Failed to pass manifest. Is that because... I don't know why it is. I'm just going to guess. Let's get rid of the dash first of all. Okay, it's happier with that. Happy with an underscore. Apparently. But it still can't find the crate, so that doesn't really help us. External crate. Not needed since Rust Edition 2018. Alright, that's a helpful hint. Thank you very much. So this is now not needed, apparently. Use of undeclared type or module big primes. So lib test. And I'm guessing inside their lib folder or lib file is some sort of test. That's a function. And I could maybe bring it into scope. They're going to let me do that. So we're saying use big primes and model. Yes. Uppercase model, lowercase model. Wrong file. Totally the wrong file. I think it's an uppercase. This might be me just abusing the Rust language. I have no idea if this is quite right. I'm kind of just feeling my way around with this. Unresolved import big primes. Use of undeclared type or module big primes. Use of undeclared type or module. Okay, so I mean, Rust is pretty good with its error messages, and it clearly says it's an undeclared type or module. So I must just be going about this wrong. Rust scope. File. So I wonder if it has to be in a module because, and I keep wondering that. I've probably said that about 10 times. So let's just do it. Let's see what happens. We've got an example here of a module. It's very simple syntax. I suspect most of this can go in a module. Let's just call this MVC. That feels not good, but good enough at the moment. Then let's take everything in here, tab it out a bit, grab that, and then watch this not compile because it's going to have a lot of issues here. Probably the first one is that this is outside of let's start at the top. So I think it's going to complain first of all because all of this needs to exist in here. File not found for module pages in 17. All right. Same for utils, fine. Macro use gets upset. Fail to resolve use of undeclared type on module pages. Yeah, so this just creates a whole new set of problems because it then can't access. You know, I guess the scope has changed. Let's put those back. Can I call this like model lib? Module lib? Guessing that's a no. File not found for module pages. Pub mod pages, line 17. Defect way of reading and writing files in Rust. How do I import from a sibling module? Close a file. Rust, just tell me what is the point of librs? I get it generally, but I did not mean to do that. Rust manual librs. Let's just go for the Rust manual. Manual has moved. Good, this book is incomplete. This looks pretty good. Okay, so excuse me, a module is a container for 0 or more items. Module source file names. That's pretty cool. Hang on a second. So module path would be crate. File system path would be librs. File contents would be mod util. Module without body is loaded from an external file. When the module does not have a path attribute, the path to the file mirrors the logical module path. Ancestor module path components are attributes, are directories, and the module's contents are in a file with the name of the module plus the rs extension. System module path components are directories, and the module's contents are in a file with the name of the module plus the rs extension. Okay, fine, that's what we're using elsewhere with pages and things. For example, the following module structure can have this corresponding file system structure. Oh, I understand. So within this file, we've specified mod util, which then brings this file into scope, and this file uses mod config, which then brings this file into scope. Understood. So So I want to Control Z this file just a little bit. The reason for that, going back to this would suggest that all I need to do is put the word crate in there. Would be cool if this were the case. And I don't. Use of undeclared type or module big primes on line 7. Fine. Do that. Is that a thing? Interesting. Okay, this looks like we might have hit. Yeah, okay. Alright, this is looking better. This is looking a lot better. So let's start at the top. So use crate, unused variable, download.txt. Unused import, first of all, crate model. So it worked. We're just not using it. So the fact that we're not using it makes me think it needs to exist within here. Could probably modify this to include them both, but I'm not going to do that just yet. Both on one line, I mean. Okay, let's see what we've got now. Unused import crate model on line 11. I disagree, but it did an error. Fine. Unused variable download on line 95. So this. Yeah, that's true. We don't need that anymore. I'll get rid of that in a minute. Unused variable perfect value. That's true. I guess that's going to go up into the generate function. Unused variables model. In fact, you know what? We could move these now. I'm happy to move those now. Let's get rid of those. Hang on, that's not moving. I think we need that at all. That can just go. Perfect value. We're definitely going to need that. Means we're going to need power. Means we're going to need 2. Means this. Bear with. And this can all go into the generate file. All right, this is starting to look more like it. Not found in the scope, line 84. Fair enough. So bring them into scope. Now we're saying a local variable with a similar name exists. Similar, but not the same. P. Yes. Yeah, where does P come from? P comes from here. From the perfects. Perfects N. So guess you could probably perfects N wrap. Just put that back for a second. So generate file. So maybe pass that in as well. Just because. Just to get rid of this error, if nothing else for the moment. Okay, this is progress. We've just got to work our way through these, and I think we're on to a winner here. Unused imports, big uint, big uint. Yeah, because we just shifted all of those, so those can go. Let's get rid of that annoying power one as well. That'll get rid of another couple of errors. Function is never used, function is never used, that's fine, I just don't mind. Private type model in public interface, that's fine too, because I believe I can just make it a public struct. Compiled, that is promising. See what we end up with. Fresh. Well, we didn't get any errors. Alright, so now, where did we get to? I feel like it's worth committing something. Definitely worth committing something. So git commit minus p. I want to cherry pick. So, you know what? We never ended. We're pretty sure that name. Let me just Control C out of this. I'm pretty sure we never did anything with this, and this. Let's just put them back the way they were and see if this still compiles. That is not what I meant to do. See if it's the. Yep, that's going to compile. So those changes did nothing. Still loads. Still loads. So let's go back to this. Yeah, so here we can say stage this. Yeah. So we made the public, we made the struct. No, quit. Can I quit? Is that a thing? Yeah, let's have a quick Google of partial commits. Partial commits. We could have a cheat sheet for that. That'd be just swell. Perfect. Do not stage. Quit. Do not stage this or any of the remaining. Yes. So here, that's a small enough commit. We have made the model struct public, and I think that is standalone. Model struct is now public. Oh, yep. Fine. Next up, we added, I think there's a commit in here for saying that we've modified the model to add download. Yes. 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 This is where things get a bit messy. Yeah, I'm going to include that. I'm not going to include. See, that's a shame because I would actually like to include that first line. There's some settings that I can pass in to say, oh, it's not in the repository yet. So maybe this is an interactive view. May or may not be. Break down your file into what it thinks a sensible portion of it will then prompt you. But what if I disagree with what it's saying? What if I think I know better? Okay. Git commit specific lines. Oh, split. split the current hunk into smaller hunks. Alright. So I just want the first line. So please split this. That's better. Yes, I want to include that because... Actually... No, I don't want to include that. Don't want to include that either. Yes, this one I want to include because we've got the model. This I don't care about. This I don't care about. Don't care. So this we can say added download to model and pass model to perfect render function. And I'm feeling like a git push is very much in order. Right, what do we got left? So I don't think we've got anything left to commit in cargo. No. Perfect has probably got a few things. So we've shifted some stuff into generate file. I think that is good enough of a commit actually to just git commit on all of that. I don't think we need to break that down. No, I don't think we need to break that down. So git commit moved logic into generate file. And actually we're going to want to do all of that on source pages archive. Perfect. Push. Alright, that's probably reasonably good shape now. So we compile and we've added something to move or give us access to the model within the render function. Yeah, we still compile. Good. Let's close this. How to use parent modules in Rust. I think we've nailed that. Thank you, the manual. Wow. We had a lot of pages open trying to solve that problem. Okay. So we're back to here. We're back to having an on-click, which is here. Now, somehow we need to kick off a function in Rust by clicking on a href. I'm gonna go and see if we can get an example of that again. Rust.rs. Rust.rs? Rust-rs. Seed, not Rust. It's that one. We got events, which is fine. This is a... Oh, I see. Okay, so in this case, you've got your... They're using a select. We're using an we're using an a tag, but that's fine. And then they pass in the event as an argument. So I think I'm going to copy this. And where does that go? So in our case, we've got attributes. Then we've got something that just says generate. Then I think we paste in this. And it's not an input event, it's a click event, right? So here they've got an example of a double click. So I'm going to guess it's a single click. And then message. So we go back to librs. We've got our, we've got our different different messages that we can kick off. So I think Generate download. What would that compile? I mean, it's compiling. Quite exciting. I'll look at it now. I mean, there's maybe something watching it, but I don't know what. Yeah, it generates an error. That's good. Can't use function get value for given element. Can't use function get value for given element. So why not? Can't use function get value for given element. So does that mean this doesn't work on an A tag? Does this mean this needs to be a button? What if it was a button? I'm okay with it being a button. I'm not that okay with it being a button, but I'm okay with it being a button if that means it works. So, I mean, what's a button in HTML5? Probably just button, right? I reckon it probably is. It's probably just button. So instead of an A tag, have a gander. Alright, well, this is looking significantly better. How did I not notice that there's an ampersand right there? That's... I should have spotted that earlier. I'll fix that. Sorry, so there's something in my eye, and it might still be there. Okay, so that doesn't generate an error. So maybe we now don't need this attributes on click nonsense. Maybe now it's just generate. Message generate download. So that kicks off this, which changes model.download to download. Where does it get download from? Is that something that we pass? If we call, do we call change page somewhere else? Yeah, okay, so if we call change page, okay, we just pass it in. So with download, I guess we're gonna need to pass it something. Let's just pass it n to begin with. Before we do that, let's commit. Oh no, let's not do that. Yeah, fine, let's commit. So we're saying git commit generate button now. I mean, it doesn't JS error. That's true. Let's stick with that. Push our changes. And now let's... Ah, you know what? I had an extra one of those in. That's a shame. Oh well. If you won't tell anyone, I won't. Ah, the danger of the bracket. So we need to pass in some stuff. Let's pass in some stuff. Let's pass in P and N. Let's pass them both in. And now this will error because it'll probably say expecting one argument. Yeah. Expecting a string found message. So we should probably just check that my faff here hasn't just caused that. Oh, that doesn't compile either. Alright, okay, let's pay attention for a second then. I broke something somewhere. Incorrect close delimiter. Ah, it was fine. Now it compiles. Right, so let's put that in there. Run that. Okay, and then we get this thing. So expected function once, standard string, closure, but found a message. Found a message. And on line 11, we've got a warning that can go away. Let's get rid of that now. How are we not using that? How are we not using that? Literally used here. Unless that's outside of the perfect utils module, but really? Expected one parameter. I'm going to put that back in just in case that breaks something in a minute. Let's get rid of this actual error rather than the warning. So this expected one parameter, and I think that means if I go back to librs, of course. So what we haven't specified is what download actually is until we get to here. So maybe download should be a... What would we want it to be? It would make sense if it was a struct. And I guess it makes sense because we're only using this on the perfects page that it could be a struct specifically for the perfects page. I think I'm happy with that for now. This is the only page that we want to do this on, actually. So yeah, that's so I feel like we could just pass in an entire one of these. We could just, instead of specifically sending an N and a P, we could yeah, okay. So instead of sending an N and a P, we could just say we're going to send this entire element. And then it will generate a different error. And if I scroll up, it won't be because of the 2 versus 1. It will be because we're expecting a string, because here we've clearly said we're going to send you a string, and then we don't. We send one of these things, which is a perfect within the perfect utils library module. Sorry. So I think what we want to do is say we're going to send you one of these, and specifically it's going to be one of these, and all of that sits within pages, and all of that sits within archive, and all of that sits within perfect. Don't you just love scoping things? Let's see if that compiles. Nope. Undeclared lifetime. We had this before, and I think it was because I needed to do this. And if this is true, then this means loads of places are going to have loads of problems. Yeah, because then everything's going to expect a lifetime parameter. What if I don't do that? What if I'm lazy? But that doesn't just work. No. Roll up. Could not find perfects in archive. Okay, that's a different error. Archive perfect, not plural. Now it's saying it expects a lifetime parameter. Module perfect utils is private. Fair enough. Not anymore. Unused import, create model. Yeah, that's fine. Pages archive, expected lifetime parameter. I mean, I'll add it. I'm not happy about adding it because I know it means I'm going to have to do this everywhere. I'm going to have to do that, and I'm going to have to do that, and then everywhere that includes message. Why do I have a lifetime parameter? Why is that? Is that because it can't just be because I've included a string? Yeah, I guess it is. What if these were not borrowed strings? What if they were actual? These were quite a bit to change in one go. One thing at a time. Expected lifetime parameter. Fine, so that's line 154. I think it's that. Undeclared lifetime. What? So go back up to, so, well, I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure that's true at all. Okay, the other option is I Control Z this, and then in here we change all of these to be like just full-on strings rather than string literals. Then we wouldn't need the lifetime parameter. Then, because there's probably then only one place that we actually read the discovery. Yeah, which is here, which means I could just change that to be a borrowed. Okay, let's do that. There's a couple of things going to have to change in one go here. Pretty sure we can do like string from Rust. What's it? String from. Yeah. Well, hang on a second. Is that going to compile? Because this becomes. Look at what you're doing. This becomes a string. Fine. Then suddenly let's use the alt. The power of the alt. Oops. I'll fix that one in a minute. It's going to have an extra one. Then just do the same again. Oops. It's only, you know, the good thing about programming is when you say oops, the worst that could possibly happen, probably not so bad. Other professions. Oops could mean something quite catastrophic. Oops, the wheels fell off. Right, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. So that's now a string, which means that doesn't need the lifetime parameter, which means that doesn't need the lifetime parameter, which means that doesn't need the lifetime parameter, but it does need that S. And somewhere I'm just gonna let the compiler find it for me. How? What? The trait standard clone is not implemented for pages archive perfect utils perfect. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. You're the compiler, so you're always right. Except when you're not, and then I'm really in trouble. So that's because we're saying we want to be able to clone this. Derive clone? Then I'm guessing if I go up to perfect here, this, I don't know if this is valid Rust. Find out in a second. Expected something or other. Expected struct, standard string string, found struct. Alright, well that's got rid of one of the errors, I think. Expected struct, standard string string, but it found a perfect. That's okay, I think. I really do think that's okay. Why did you expect a string? Expected struct string. Why? I thought we were defining up here what you were expecting, and here you should expect a perfect, not a string. Ah, unless somewhere up here we've got a message struct. Ah, no, here, right there. That's what you're after. Perfect. Try that again. Alright, different error, different error. Is it a different error though? Oh, this was the one that I was hoping the compiler would find for me and I could then fix. Oh god, how do we give that a default value? How on earth do we give that default value? That's going to be something like... it's going to be something like this, I guess, as a default value. This feels horrible. I don't like this. I don't like what I'm doing. I'm going to set all these to 0. Expected a type here because of type ascription. So you want me to specify the type of everything that we're putting in. But is that not given to you by the struct? Or is this... no, I remember this before. I think the correct syntax is... it's something that I didn't expect, like an equals sign. Something like that. Find out in a second when it tells me I'm wrong. Yeah, okay, so a dot, semicolon, or a question mark. So I've got the syntax wrong for setting this up. I've used this somewhere else. I'm trying to think where else I've used the syntax. Trying to initialize this. So let's just compile that again, get back the original error message. So expected 1 of 8 possible tokens here. Fine, yeah, probably should put that back. Expected a type here because of type ascription. So is it as simple as me doing that and adding an equals? Expected semicolon, so don't think it's an exclamation mark. I don't think a bracket makes sense. Not sure why my brain has trouble with this syntax, but it really does. Really, really does. Let's have a quick look. I'm not even sure what we would call this thing. What is it? We're like initializing a Rust struct. Oh, that doesn't sound right. Defining and instantiating. Yeah, go for the current version. So yeah, we've got a struct. We got that on the other page. That's fine. Then we're using a let user. Oh, do I need to specify? I mean, really? Do I need to do this? Is that right? Semicolons. While passing this struct, expected 1 of 8 possible tokens here. Maybe we don't need this. Maybe we do need this. Aha, yes. So that's horrible. But it compiles. I don't like this at all. But that's fine. Let's get it working, and then we can go back and fix my Rust. Expect. Okay, so we're back to expecting something but found message. So I thought this was working reasonably happy. So we're specifying. Oh, I see. So this should be an entire. Does this still think it's expecting a string? I really don't understand why that still expects a string. If I go and search for download, pages archive perfect, fine. That mentions perfect as well. Everything's talking about a struct. None of it is talking about a string. And this would get a download, specify model.download equals download. Again, what we're passing in. Perfect archive, it gets a model. Just back up. Is this just looped on us? Yeah, okay, so we're back at the top. Alright, let's have a look at this line it's complaining about. So line 107. 107. So perfect n would equate to one of these, which, as specified at the beginning here, is a perfect struct. Oh, I've lost the line. There it is. This is apparently my thinking posture. In a moment of self-reflection, I've just realised when I'm slightly stuck on something, apparently I put my hands on my head. It doesn't help. Not in the slightest. So when we have an event of click, let's go back to a working example. I think we've got as far as we can, or at least we're likely to get to with this compiler. So message change selected. So yeah, they pass in change selected. Do they ever pass it in with an argument? Here. So on input. Ah, okay. So in this case, we're going to need to use a closure, I guess. Oh, this is going to be curious. Okay, let's start off where they start using closures. Point 1. The other 3 event creation functions take a trigger and a closure. So e.g. event click, context menu, etc. And an instance of your message. Event trigger. Increment. The other 3 event creation functions take a trigger and a closure. Returns a message enum. Explicitly writing. So okay, so note that in the examples for input excuse me, input event and keyboard event, syntax is simplified since we're only passing the field text and keyboard event respectively to the message. The input environment example is Rust shorthand for input event input, then we're okay, text as a closure. Oh, I understand. I think I understand now. So input event, so instead of us specifying instead of event click, I think we specify click. You were to pass something other than or more than just the input text. So a keyboard environment event for all described below. You can't use this shorthand and would have to do something like this instead, explicitly writing the closure. Yes, so in this case, so instead of, okay, so their input is move. So our input, maybe it is input. Then we specify click. Maybe. Not found in this scope. Fair enough. So what is found in this scope? Because here we've got an example of move. What is move? Is that one of the events? Here we're passing in the entire event and throwing in an ID for good measure. Pass more than one variable to the message enum via the closure as long as it's set up appropriately in message's definition, which it is. Note that if you pass a value to the enum other than what's between this, you may receive an error about lifetimes. Yeah, fair enough. We haven't captured it and thrown it in. What if we did? And are we receiving an error about lifetimes? What if it's... So here they're specifying... So why can't I mean, why can't I just have a list of events? That's what I kind of need. Where in the manual do I find that? It's time to check their source code. Back to David O'Connor's library. I say David O'Connor's library, but Martin Kavik, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Martin Kavik is committing quite a lot to this thing, so it's at the very least a very joint effort. So let's try an events.rs. What have we got in here? Make events. So cached unload, open, page show. There's loads of stuff in here. Key down, mouse down, pointer lock change. Okay, I'm noticing very interestingly there's no click, which is what I tried and what it's complaining about. So maybe we do a mouse down. Is there no mouse up? That's fine. I don't need mouse up. It's fine. Mouse down. Let's see if that compiles. Not found in this scope. Oh, hang on a minute. There's other stuff here. There's probably is a mouse up. Mouse up. Yeah, there is. I just didn't see it. So first of all, let's use the one I really want to use, which is mouse up. And we know that's not going to compile, probably for the same reason. Not found in this scope. So going back to their example. Yeah, we can get rid of this string page now. Going back to their example. They've specified us returns A, which exposes several getting methods. No. Then examples for input environment and keyboard environment. The syntax is simplified. Since we're only passing the field text and keyboard events respectively to the message. So, oh, I see. So text is coming from somewhere, don't know where. I think that's what we want. Because text would be for a keyboard, right? Not found in this scope, but still we're getting complaints about mouse up. And this expected a boolean but found an enum message. Why would it expect a boolean? So many tabs. So I guess there's a pointer as well, right? We got mouse. Not found in the scope. So what if it's just mouse? What if it's just a mouse event of some description? Does that work? Okay, curiously it does. It's a shame that I had to go and look at their source code to guess that. But I still don't know it's actually right. So it compiled-ish, got a bit further, but still don't know that it's actually right. So got this message. It's expecting boolean, but it found enum message. Why would that be expecting a boolean? It's quite clearly in their examples. They pass in enum. And this, maybe the second error is a clue. Expected string closure, but it found a boolean. Yeah, I think there's a clue here. These are related. Expected a boolean, but found an enum message. Expected a, not even sure. I'm not sure how to interpret this. So this is my limit of my Rust knowledge right here. Fine. So expected a closure, but found boolean. My syntax slightly off. Don't think so. Sorry, I'm just sort of scanning through their examples. So here they've got all kinds of cool stuff going on inside a key press message. And that's in update function. So is it to do with my definition in here? So we've got an update function. Boom. And in here, what are we returning? Message. it me, or are we not specifying what we're returning? I don't think we are. Yeah, there's no definition for what we're returning. Hmm. So why does this think it's a Boolean? This trait is not implemented for Boolean, but where is it getting a Boolean from? So I'm passing in, maybe it's something to do with what I'm passing in. Oh, there was another error. Not found in this scope. So actually, what scope? That's an interesting point. If I go back to here, should this be crate, or should this be seed mouse? Maybe that, and maybe I should scroll up all the way this time to find out what the not found in seed. Fair enough. So let's go back to here. So it could be in seed events. Not found in seed events. And no suggestions for where it could be found. And what if I just search your repo? Have a look. So they've got mouse events. Maybe it's... See, it could be that they've introduced a breaking change as well, and their demo site is just not updated. Expected a Boolean but found function item. Fair enough. Fair enough. So maybe we go back to trying this. Mouse up. Try that. Expected Boolean found enum seed events ev. So let's go back to there. What if I just use the exact example that they've got, and that's inside seed events move. Expected identifier, but it found a keyword. Oh, okay. Is this a Rust keyword? I've been making a presumption. Takes 0 arguments. Expect closure that takes 1 argument. Fine. So let's put text back in there. Pretty sure this is going to error. Wow, lots of errors. Borrowing of moved value. Okay, that's a different problem. So let's allow them to borrow it. Thanks for, I'm guessing that's a follow? Yeah, it is, thank you. Pat Smith or Smith. Pat Smith. Thanks for the follow. Give me a shout if you can let me know what it is that you find interesting about me getting frustrated with Rust. That'd be awesome. Or lurk, do that, do whatever you want. Let's see. Expected a struct. Yep, okay. Expected a struct, but it found a reference. Consider removing the borrow. Well, I just added that and that caused the error. So the other option is instead of, well, hang on a second, we could, why can't we borrow, generate download, go back here, generate download. So what if I said it's okay to borrow this, and it's okay to borrow this? Expected lifetime parameter. Alright, let's say it's not okay to borrow it because I'm going to do what it actually tells me to do. And we will... So slightly expensive. Well, it's not expensive in this case because we're cloning such a small amount of data, but let's just clone it. Wow. Value borrowed here after. Okay, let's start off at the top. Unused variable text. Fine. I'll do that in a minute, not quite yet. Help, consider using prefix with an underscore. Okay, so these are all variables that we're not currently using, but they're there for a good reason. They really are. Help, remove this mute. The sky is falling. Don't know if that came through on the mic. Let mute perfects. Oh, because we don't change it anymore. Of course we don't. So that can go. Fine, fine. Borrow of moved value perfects. So this should be a simple thing, right? It's just a borrowing problem. It does not implement the copy trait. Let perfects. Move occurs because perfects has type standard vector pages, blah, which does not implement the copy trait. Well, that's probably fine. I'm pretty sure we can add it. Derive, clone, and whilst we're at it, copy. Copy. This field does not implement copy. Okay, that's a shame. Not run into this one before. Public discovery string. So does that mean I then have to specify this here, bang in the middle of a struct? That's a total guess on my part. No, apparently not. So does that mean you can't copy strings? Surely you can copy a string. I'm gonna Google that. Oh, I might not need to actually. Rust may already contain all the answers. An attempt to implement the copy trait for a struct failed because one of the fields does not implement copy. To fix this, you must implement copy for the mentioned field. Note that this may not be possible, as in the example of this fails because vector t does not implement copy for any t. Here's another example that will fail. Great. Can I have one that works? What if I do... Okay, well, what if I do this? Is this okay? Is this a thing? Can I do that? For perfect. Implement copy for perfect. This field does not implement copy, aborting due to 3 errors. This field does not implement copy. So it was fine with the U64s. It's not happy with string. So this field does not implement copy. And it's a string. Okay, so they've got some vectors. And I bet this is the problem. I bet it's to do with usize. The type implements copy. You do not have to explicitly state that you want to copy the value because vector implements drop. It cannot implement copy. So because I've got a vector in there. Oh. Because we then put it into a vector. preventing you from accidentally copying values around without noticing it. Thus, vector only implements clone. The contain type implements clone, so that you can explicitly copy a vector by calling clone, blah blah blah. Fine. Okay, so well, let's go. I might be going around in circles here. Let's rerun this. Value borrowed here after move. So it's moved on. Move occurs because perfects has type. So a move occurs to perfects. Then we try and borrow it on line 96. That's what we're saying, right? 96. Ah, okay. So what do you want me to do about that? I mean, I could clone it in place. Not too over the moon about doing that. In fact, I'm definitely not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'll clone it just the once. So let's call this perfect. So yeah, let's perfect. I guess it's of type perfect. No, because it's a P, so that's going to be U64 probably. Perfect n. So let this 64-bit integer equal. Oh, what am I doing? No. Dot clone. Great. So then I can take this, replace that, and that. I guess. In fact, actually, I'm going to call it perfect P as well, so that we know a little bit more about where it came from. Let's try running that. Value borrowed here after move. But I've cloned it. Why is that a problem? Move occurs because perfects has type perfect, which does not implement the copy trait. Well, we know that. We've also established we don't think we can add the copy trait. So what's it return? Actually, maybe the problem is this function here. What does this return? And yeah, what does it return? Can we do a clone here? Maybe that's where we need to do the clone. This returns a vector, fine. Vector of perfect. No lifetime thing going on there. There's no... I feel like this is a bit hacky because I'm not 100% sure what the problem is here, but I'm just throwing clones everywhere. Move occurs because perfects has type, which does not implement the copy trait. I'm cloning it, I'm not. Or are you saying I can't clone it? Well, no, because then surely it would error, because then it would error earlier on, surely. Which does not implement the copy trait. Move occurs here. And then this says we're borrowing it, but we're not borrowing it as far as I can tell. Here, we're reading from this. Okay, so this is line 93, line 96, and line 108. We've got this issue on. Hey joiner, how's it going? Thanks for all your help last stream. That was much appreciated. I'm now stuck on a... I managed to get through some pretty tough stuff actually this stream, but now just a borrow problem is keeping us from moving on. I think it's to do with the fact that I'm using a vector up here, but what if I at least allow this to be cloned? Derive clone. Derive may only be applied to structs. You learn something new all the time. Okay, so it's got to be the fact that we're using a vector that's causing all this trouble. What if it wasn't the vector? I guess what else have we got? Rust better than vector. Yeah, what if it was an array? Is that a good idea? Maybe that's not what I want. So yeah, so Rust, vector, clone, borrow, pane. Array is static. Yeah, that's a good point. I feel would that save us in this case? Because these are all fixed length strings. These are fixed size numbers. Maybe they could be fixed length strings and they're not. I can't remember which way around it is. Whether it's the string literal, that's fixed length, isn't it? And that's the one that's a whole object with all kinds of stuff. Array is static. Yeah, it might be that I have to convert this to an array then. I guess we don't need to grow the array. I mean, that's fine because we defined the whole thing here. Quite a lot changing in this. So string is heap. So I'd have to change it back to static strings then. And then I need to remember why I changed it in the first place. I can't remember. I can just about remember this. So this was it that I didn't want that lifetime parameter? Yeah, I didn't want to pass around this lifetime parameter. What's the error? Yeah, good question. Solid question. Let me just check I've got rid of all the faff. Let's run this. So there's a bunch of warnings, but that's from some code I'm halfway through changing. So it's literally this. This line here complains because it's of type. It's a vector containing loads and loads of this instantiated struct. And the vector doesn't implement the copy. But I'm not quite sure why that then results in, say, a problem here. Not here, actually, sorry. Here. Which is the next issue. Because it says that it's borrowed, but I'm trying to clone it, so maybe I need to clone the whole thing before accessing .p. Could try that. Doesn't hurt to add a line, right? So this would be getting rid of that. Let's just imply the type for the moment because I'm lazy. So perfect P is U64 and that implements copy. No need to clone there. Yeah, that's very true actually. just going to rerun this. What do we get? Value borrowed here after move. So, alright, maybe I was doing something really daft. That's just... Yeah. This is the one that's got me stumped. Messing around with enums, nope, not a problem. Sorting out some closures, nope, manage that. But no, Rust borrowing. I wonder what happens. What's perfects count? That is a constant defined up here. So currently it's set to 27. Probably going to change that with something dynamic, but at the moment it's because we've got 27 numbers available on the page. At the very least, I'm going to add a unit test to make sure that that number is equal to the number of rows in that vector. Otherwise, it will just error on prod. Let perfects equal perfects n.clone. I just want to see what happens with this. What if I do that? Perfects n.clone value borrowed here after move. Is it because it's... No. I was wondering if it's because it's outside of the for loop. Does that have something to do with the scope in Rust? Completely guessing. Oh, knocks the microphone. Sorry. Excuse me. No. I was going to say, I wonder what happens. Me trying nothing is probably the worst thing. Me trying something and trying to get a different error is something else entirely. So this I would expect error, because we've actually borrowed it. We've explicitly tried to borrow it. Rust vector clone borrow. So they've got a vector of things. They clone their vector, then they try and shuffle it, and they can't. Perfect utils is yours or something from a crate. Perfect utils is this module up here. And yeah, this is where we're defining the perfect struct and then the vector containing all of those perfect structs. The 27 elements in, and yeah, then we call the perfects function, which returns those 27 items. Shuffle, create. Why would they two vector a vector? Calling clone on a slice will return you a slice, and you cannot go from... Cannot choose mutability of a reference borrowed pointer. When you call toOwned, however, you are getting a fresh instance of vector, and you can put it into a mutable variable. What? So is this... Do we need to do a toOwned here? I feel like this is probably going to have the exact same problem. Move occurs. Value has borrowed. What about that? That's a different error, I think. No. Alright, Control Z. So why does our example have 2 vector? I mean, I'll call it, but I don't think... Sorry, just catching up with chat. For perfect, imperfect, perfect iterator, that way you have taken out perfect out of the vector each time and don't have to call perfects. Hang on 1 second, just going to see how badly this breaks things. Pretty badly. Doesn't make any difference. Okay, so you're saying perfect user for perfect imperfect dot iterator. So here's an iterator. Perfect. Yep. Oh, hang on, you're defining a new for loop. So you're saying... Oh, that's a good idea. Well, hang on. No, for perfect, imperfect. Yes, so you're going to iterate over them rather than have to use this silly perfects count. So your point... I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So instead we would use perfects and iterate like that. In which case we no longer need this. And that's meant to be a dot. Okay. That way you've taken out perfect out of the vector each time and don't have to call replace your for loop. Yep. Cool. Thank you very much. Let's see what happens. More stuff blew up. Oh, because perfects n. So anywhere that we were using perfects n becomes just perfect. So there and there and there and perfect. Run that. And borrowed value does not live long enough. Well, nearly. Borrowed value does not live long enough, so we have to specify a lifetime, I'm guessing. The question is where. Could bring back I think we had one here. Could bring back a lifetime iterator here. Lifetime iterator. Lifetime something. I think could just do a full-on revert. Whoa, what happened? Did I just revert everything? That would be bad. No, just that one thing. Yeah, I'm confused too. I mean, in some ways I'm glad it's not just me, but I really wish you did have the answer. That would be great. Unexpected lifetime argument. So, okay, that's fine. It was an attempt. Edit, redo. Okay, let's go back up to here. Sorry. Let me just ditch the lifetime parameters that I just added. Actually, I guess it says they're probably unexpected because we haven't specified them in the struct. So I could put them back in the struct. And then everything is going to expect a blooming lifetime parameter. So everywhere we call perfect. So within librs, no lifetime should be required there. I mean, yeah. I'm just going to very quickly just run through and just see if this changes the error. Sorry, I realise this might take just a second. Yep, alright. I'm going to just back out of that. Yeah, cheers. Yeah. See you in a bit. I do wonder if it's maybe there's a problem with this particular nightly of Rust. I mean, it's possible. Seems unlikely. Borrowed value does not live long enough. Let's see what we end up with now. Borrowed value does not live long enough. Argument requires that perfect is borrowed for static. So does that mean I have to specify? Let's try this. Rust, do you have the answers? This occurs when a value is dropped while it was still borrowed. We have a struct. Yep, we've definitely got one of those. Then we set let mu x equals instantiated version of the foo struct. Then we go into a scope, let y equals 0. X.x equals sum y. Y is dropped at the end of the inner scope, but it is borrowed. I don't get it. Where would it be dropping? At the end of the for loop? Like the first iteration? Is that the problem? Something gets dropped, perhaps? That'd be my complete guess. Perfect imperfects iterator. I've got to be honest, I did not expect to get stuff stuck on a borrowing problem. So I'm just compiling it again in case something happens that's different the next time round. Why did I think that was going to have any difference? Borrowed value does not live long enough. But why? When pushing into a vector. Well, we're not doing that. We're not pushing into a vector at all. Unable to return a vector of string slices. Why does my variable not live long enough? Lots of angry posts by people, lots of exclamation marks. I have a simple piece of code that is supposed to read a file. Simple is it's not a fact, but fine. You've got some IO stuff. File to vector. You are returning a result which could be a vector of strings or an IO error. And you're getting the following error. Let's go. Let's maybe just skip to the answer. Problem is that string is created in your function and will be destroyed when the function returns. The vector you want to return contains slices of string, but those will not be valid outside of your function. Well, we got one of those. We do return a string. Oh, hang on. Oh yeah, no, that's fine. So we're not using that. We're using a full-on string. So vector perfect. Discovery is a string. Not terribly, yeah, so perfect. Let's put a specification in for what this actually is. So this is an array, a vector even. Of perfect, I think. Okay, different error, different error. Not found in this scope. Fair point. So that's in the perfect utils scope. And then we have the exact same problem. But does this spell anything out for us? Perfect utils. So we run. What if we? I mean, this is ridiculous, obviously, but I'm guessing if I get rid of this, this will probably run. Cannot infer type for T. Really? HTML is used there. Anyway, it's a different error now. So it's definitely something to do with our for loop. Then I would question, well, is it just the for loop itself? Cannot infer type T. And I might need to put something in here just to pacify that error. Yeah, just push one of those, please. Thanks. Right. Okay, so that's going to compile because it got past the compile stage. So let's just work our way down this line by line until we've figured this out. Okay, so that compiled. So it's perfectly happy for us to set perfect p from perfect.p. Great. I'm going to skip a few lines, see if we can get 2 lines in one go. We can. So this entire thing just going to boil down to that one line. Yeah, because that's the one line where we're borrowing it, right? Fine. Get rid of that because nobody wanted that. I just put it in for debug. We're back to saying perfect.clone. What if we created, and this is frankly ridiculous, but we've got a struct in here, right? So if I create a perfect utils perfect, just a brand spanking new one. I'm just going to put this on another line for a second. If I, where is it? So if I said I want a new one of these, and in it we're going to put this. This honestly seems ridiculous, but fine. What have we got? We've got np digits discovery. So np digits discovery. So I could say perfect.p. No, perfect.n. Comma, get some commas in here. Everyone loves a good comma. Perfect.p. Perfect.digits. And I might even spell that right. Perfect.discovery. Discovery. Then I take that whole thing, because I've just generated a new perfect. I mean, that's a horrible line of code, but let's see if it compiles and then we can make it less horrible. So this, interesting, it's not until it gets to perfects.discovery that it gets upset. And I don't care about the discovery. Not in the slightest. So I could. I mean, this is ridiculous, really ridiculous. But what if I actually? What if I don't even specify discovery? I'd love to know what happens then. Okay, specify it first of all. Oh wow, I thought that was actually going to compile then. Argument requires that perfect is borrowed for static. Argument requires that perfect is borrowed for static. Okay, Rust Google foo. Argument requires that whatever, because it's not going to be called perfect in somebody else's code. Okay, so they've literally got the same problem. Impossible. Your lines and thus the values inside it do not live for the entire lifetime of the program and cannot be static. Wow. That's that then. So in that case, I mean, cool. Right. I tell you what, I'll be back later this afternoon. This is a great place to pause on a borrowing problem. Catch you all a little bit later, hopefully. Cheers and bye.